Alrighty, good afternoon, morning, evening, night, whatever you're doing. Welcome to the Earbuds Podcast. To my left, we have the Greek geek, our Metro Boomin. Yiorgos Tsivranidis.
What? That's a compliment of the highest order. Hey, everyone.
And over across from me, we've got the Estonian train, BD42, the flight pattern,
Chugga 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 chugga.
Benjamin Danzig.
Good to be here. Yeah.
And I'm your hostess with the mostest, Matt Griffin.
Yep.
All right, and so we got a small plate for you guys, small portions today, nothing too crazy. And so what we really wanted to talk about today is the Kanye bracket that was released on Twitter earlier this week. So we were wondering what everyone's thoughts on that were, but we figured that would be a little bit long, so we trimmed it down to our final four. So yes. I guess we'll start with Big YT. How you went about that bracket?
Baby. Okay, first of all, I love the fact that this is a thing. Let's just acknowledge the Kanye Madness. Kanye is like kind of one of the only artists that is worth doing this for because he has so many classics. I mean, no, there's quite a few. I shouldn't say one of the only, but he's like, I don't know, comparable to like Queen. If Queen did something like this, no, not even. I mean, depends on what you're a fan of. Anyway, that was the side comment that kind of just fell into the ground. So my picks, we're going to do top four, right? We're talking about our top four.
Yeah, top four.
So out of Northwest, my winner, these are all so close. It was between Devil in a New Dress and No Church in the Wild. No Church in the Wild won out of Northwest. Out of Donda, we have All of the Lights. Out of Chicago, we got Gold Digger. And out of Saint, we got Homecoming. So the way I picked these, we talked about this a little bit before the episode. The way I went about these was what I have a personal connection to, but also what I think is a classic, what is in the zeitgeist, what like everyone knows. Like there was Stronger sadly didn't make it above Gold Digger because Gold Digger is that song where when it comes on at the party, everyone, like conversations stop, everyone just goes wild. Yeah. So that's like one of the reasons that propelled it to the top for me. I also just think it's a really great song. It propelled Jamie Foxx's singing career, all of these things. So those are my four. Should I tell you what the two are, or should we all
I feel like we should all
first?
Say our four, and then we'll do final two. And the champ.
Yeah.
Those are my four. No Church in the Wild, All of the Lights, Gold Digger, Homecoming.
Cool. Awesome. Right. It's actually funny that you mentioned that Gold Digger kind of kickstarted Jamie Foxx's career because I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast and
I'm listening to that one too.
Yeah, so Matt's heard that one where he has Jamie Foxx on as a guest, and the first song that like Jamie Foxx had like sang on for like a hip hop album was Slow Jams. And he's like...
Is that the other Kanye song?
This is off College Dropout.
I bet she wants some Marvin Gaye, some Luther Vandross. Yeah, and...
So that's what actually kickstarted the career.
Yeah, and Kanye was like, okay, this is how you're going to sing it. And he's telling him what that song actually sounds like today. And Jamie Foxx is like, yeah, cool, but I'm going to put my own spin on it. And he's like, no, don't do that.
Well, no, he gets in the booth and he starts recording and Kanye cut it. He was like, no, you gotta do it this way, man.
Sounds like Kanye. That's why he's the man.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just like so many funny little tidbits about crazy. Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, let me preface my picks with the fact that I have a lot of gaps in my Kanye knowledge. So,
same here.
I'm very, very Pablo heavy and very Pablo heavy, very, what is the first one? College Dropout heavy. And then everything in the middle is kind of like, I've just heard the hits, and then I filled in the gaps as I went along. So, yeah, my picks, so Northwest, I didn't really like this division too much, but I chose Through the Wire. Yeah, I just really like the sound of that song. I honestly don't even know most of the lyrics in the song. I just love the sound so much. In Donda, I would go with Good Life. It's just such a classic. Makes you feel so good. You can just belt that out in the shower. You can work out to it. You can wake up to it.
One of T-Pain's best.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah. When he's like, better than the life I live when
So
I
much
thought that I
fun.
was gonna
Yeah.
go crazy.
It's one of those. It's good mood, immediate good mood songs. You put it on, you're like happy.
Yeah. In Saint I had a really tough time with, because at first I was thinking Touch the Sky, and then I was thinking Diamonds from Sierra Leone. That's a great song. Jay-Z's verse in that is fire. I love Homecoming. That was like the first Kanye song I got really into.
I love that
Yeah,
song.
that's such a good song. I love Family Business. No. Is that the one? This is family business.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
All
that's
that's good is not gold.
That's a great song. That's such a feel-good Kanye song. Yeah, I'll probably go with Touch the Sky, because it's just like the beat is unbelievable.
The horns in that are stellar. That might be my favorite horns in a rap
It's
song.
iconic. Also, my introduction to Lupe Fiasco,
Ooh.
who's great on the song, so charismatic.
Yeah, it's so good.
Underrated mid-2000s rapper. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I used to be a big Lupe fan. He was like one of my first.
That's
big
what I hear. Yeah,
favorite
I
rappers.
need to check out his older stuff.
I'll send you a few things.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll post
Give
it
me
on our playlist that we might be having in the near future. Stay tuned.
Spoiler
Little
alert.
plug.
Uh-oh.
Little plug. We can cut that if we want.
No, I like that. Yeah, give them teasers.
And
Okay,
then,
and then Chicago?
Yeah, in Chicago, this was an easy one for me. We Major. That's probably my favorite Kanye song.
We Major?
Yeah.
I may have never heard that song.
Oh, it's so good.
What?
Nas has a crazy good verse on
Nas
that
is
song.
on it? Oh, wow.
Ah, it's so good. And then I don't even know what the third guy's name is. I'm sorry, third guy.
Third guy.
His verse is awesome. Yeah, his verse is awesome.
Cool.
Is there even a third guy? Well, I don't know. I
Okay,
don't
so
wanna-
go over them. Say them again. All your four years.
So We Major, Touch the Sky, Good Life, and Through the Wire.
Nice.
All top picks.
So none of our picks have overlapped so far.
Oh yeah.
All right, so now we have mine. I rode the nostalgia wave on a lot of these. I was surprised on one of mine, which I'll get to. But so in the Northwest bracket, I had Never Let Me Down, but that's more just because it's a lot of nostalgia for me. Like, I had a friend that memorized the whole thing and used to do like spoken word in front of our entire camp, and it was
dope.
fucking awesome. And I think the message behind it is really awesome. It's a good motivational song, which I enjoy a lot. But out of the Donda division, I think Runaway is like, if not the most iconic Kanye song, it is
Wow.
like by far the most unique. I don't think, other than Touch by Daft Punk, there's no other song, maybe Pyramids too. There's no other like 5-minute plus song that I will be locked into the whole time. Like
Ooh,
the
yeah.
way that piano just cuts
Yeah.
and cuts.
That's a great song.
It's
Have you
so
seen
good.
Have you seen the video where he's live and he plays the first note and everyone goes wild?
No.
And there's like an
that's
article
so
titled that like Kanye West plays one note and everyone goes wild. And if you don't know what that song is, you're like, what the hell? He just
Yeah.
hit a piano key, stepped away from the piano as if he did the most amazing thing in the world, and the crowd went wild. It was the tour where he had the masks.
Oh yeah, for Yeezus.
And yeah, I love that song.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love that song. Oh
Did
my
you
God.
see the performance he did for like some British music awards show for
No.
All Day? And
Oh.
the performance is
with
just
the
like
with the
Yeah,
flamethrowers?
so cool.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like him on stage with a posse of dudes behind him, all in like all black clothing, and then in the middle there's just somebody shooting a flamethrower up. It's
That
so
was
good.
very, very hype.
That dude's got a wild mind. I don't know where, like, what do you think he's doing? Like, just eating something? He's like, all of a sudden, like, I should have flamethrowers, like,
Yeah.
in my show. It'll
He
be nuts.
envisions it. I don't know, man. Yeah. Maybe someone told him, he was like, yo, why don't you just mob out? Like,
Yeah.
just get all your homeboys.
I think my
Who knows?
favorite content to listen to would just be listening to like Kanye and Kim Kardashian's just mundane conversations.
In bed, laying in
Just
bed, like, before they go to sleep.
Oh yeah, I made some eggs for tomorrow. Like, oh thanks. Like just to see
The
that
little
they're like
things.
real people. Like holy fuck.
Yeah. The baby wants a new dress. Like, we're taking her to the photo shoot tomorrow.
Yeah.
Definitely talking about that kind of stuff, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so, anyways, back to the bracket. So, from the Chicago bracket, I think this is Chicago. I have Good Morning. I think that's in the Chicago bracket. So,
Yep.
that, it came down to that and Jesus Walks for me. I'm also a sucker for College Dropout. So, or no, Good Morning is also not on College Dropout, but it's on Graduation. But I listened to that song when I was graduating from high school, and like it was just like the perennial like, oh, I'm graduating, hop in the DeLorean, do all that shit. I remember like leading up to graduation, I was like, oh, I'm gonna play this. Like I knew exactly when it was gonna happen. And then the last one for Saint was Family Business. I think it's Kanye's best feel-good song for sure, and I think it's his last verse in that song is one of his best verses of all time. I think.
Yeah, I love the way he starts that verse.
I woke up early this morning with a new state of mind, a creative way to rhyme without using knives and guns.
Yeah, that's like so unlike all of his other music too.
Yeah, it takes such a turn. Like he goes from that to Jesus and Pablo, and it's it just.
Oh my God.
You can. There are very few rappers whose state of mind is more evident through his projects than.
That's a great point. That is such a good point. Like, wow, yeah, he's just like so candid in his music, and like that's just what makes it so compelling.
That's what draws people to his sound, and like he has some lines, or even in his songs and in interviews too. All of a sudden he'll say the realest shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, that's so true.
Yeah.
Totally me. Like, you become that basic person all of a sudden. We're like, oh my God, he's talking about my life. I think also that is the only song that overlaps on all, whatever, it's the 12 of our songs here. Family Business. The two of you have Family Business.
No, I didn't have Family Business.
You didn't?
I just mentioned.
Oh, you mentioned it.
Something.
Wait, did any overlap then?
I don't think so.
Oh, wow. Look at us go.
And then I guess, and now at this point, we can do like our final two, and we can just say the winner as well, and for the sake of speed.
So it's back to me?
Yeah, back to you.
So this was really tough. I also want to mention, in Donda, I couldn't choose between Heartless and Runaway to go up against All of the Lights. I just knew All of the Lights was going to be either of them. So I didn't have the heart to choose between Heartless and Runaway. Because I love those two songs so much. I'm pretty heartless. So between Northwest goes against Donda, right? And then Chicago goes against Saint. So No Church in the Wild went against All of the Lights. And both of them are iconic, enormous, kind of show-stopping event songs. With the features, you got Frank on one, you got Riri on the other, you got Jay-Z, of course, on No Church in the Wild. But All of the Lights edged it out for me because of I've spent so much time with that song. People from the acapella group listening, shout out Vocal Suspects, will know that I tried for a long time to arrange it for the acapella group, but it was so repetitive, it was really hard to do. If I was a better arranger in another life, I've definitely done it. But anyway, that edges it out for me. And then Gold Digger went up against Homecoming. And Homecoming edged it out again because of the personal connection I have to that song, where he raps about his relationship to his home, and it really makes me think of my relationship to Greece and my home, and having to move away from home to pursue your dream, and blah, 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 blah. So All of the Lights against Homecoming.
Ooh.
This is the worst in the world because, I have such a personal connection to both songs, but it would have to be... Oh, no. I don't know, man.
Can we get a drum roll?
I don't want to do this.
Do you have an idea ready?
Yeah, go for it. It's got to be Homecoming. It's got to be Homecoming because it's all Kanye. Oh, also Chris Martin, who I love. And yeah, the personal connection just wins it for me. It's just,
Who is Chris Martin?
The singer for Coldplay. Do you think about me now and then? He sings the hook. Do you think about me now?
That's pretty dope. I didn't know that.
'Cause I'm coming home again.
In home again.
So good, dude. The piano. Anyway.
It's also interesting to see you have, I think on all of yours, there's at least a good feature in every single song. Whereas like mine, Runaway, Family Business, Never Let Me Down, and Never Let Me Down has a Jay Ivy verse, but it's not from the song. It's just a poem that he's had. So like all of mine are mostly individual, which is a cool contrast.
Yeah,
I think.
That's interesting. Yeah. So that's me.
Yay!
I feel so sad. Like I feel like I let down all of my other favorites by having to choose one.
You just have to make up for it by going through again and
listening to the
Yeah.
entire discography again, I guess. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. So for me, so since this is, happening at the same time as March Madness, in the NCAA, I'm gonna try and explain this in basketball terms, something I'm not super familiar with. Okay, so what was it? Through the Wire, number 2 seed, Through the Wire versus, what did I pick? The Good Life. I feel like The Good Life, it's the 3 seed versus the 2 seed. The Good Life, though, they're like the favorites, like Through the Wire has that, that one guy who's like gonna be in the NBA. He's gonna be like balling up, he's probably gonna crack under the pressure, 'cause, he's not gonna play that well. The Good Life, fan favorite, everyone loves it. You can put it on anywhere. Through the Wire is like, I don't know. I can put it on. I don't know if everyone can put it on. So yeah, I think it's gonna be an upset. The Good Life's gonna win this one.
Ooh.
And move on to the final. Then, in the Eastern Hemisphere of this bracket, you got We Major, the 5 seed. Nobody saw it coming. Versus Touch the Sky, the powerhouse.
Ooh, number
this is
1 seed.
Number 1 seed.
Wow.
Everyone saw this coming. They're studs. They've been winning every year. Touch the Sky is like, you talk to any Kanye fan or even vague hip hop fan, they've probably heard it. They've probably worked out to it. They know it. They love it. And
Iconic music video. Pamela Anderson, right?
I haven't seen the music video.
Really?
Dude,
actually.
he pretends to be Evel Knievel. And then,
What?
there's a part where he's doing an interview with the TV, and this woman comes up and interrupts, and she quotes, "Don't leave your ass for a white girl" from Gold Digger. She's like, "Oh, you cheated on me with this white girl," like blah blah. He's like, "I'm trying to do this jump. I'm trying to focus," and then he dies. He doesn't make the jump, and he dies because that's the point. Like, he dies famously. That's like Touch the Sky. Anyway,
What?
that's yeah.
I
The
gotta see
music
that.
video is insane, ladies and gentlemen. Go check it out.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy.
And for that reason, We Major wins.
Ooh,
Yeah,
what?
just tried to throw you off.
Damn.
Yeah, keep you on your toes. Yeah, I just really like that song.
Sure, man. Okay,
yeah.
so now you got We Major versus what came from the other side? Good Life?
Versus, what was it? Good Life?
Yeah, I think it was Good Life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'll go with We Major again.
Nice,
just 'cause I really
nice.
like that song.
I feel like
I
I
feel
have
like
to
the way you were
applaud.
building that up, that was definitely down to. No pun intended on that.
Bow.
That was bad. All right.
Honey.
So I guess for my final two, I have Never Let Me Down versus Runaway, and honestly, I'll get to the chase. I feel like Runaway is just like between like also the music videos and
The fucking movie,
just
dude.
it's the
Yeah.
movie, the music videos, just the uniqueness of the song in general. I think it just has Never Let Me Down. That's just like it trumps my favoritism of Never Let Me Down. And then Good Morning, Family Business. I think Family Business is a deeper Kanye song, so I just connect with it more on that level. So then it's Runaway versus Family Business.
Ooh.
And I don't know, I think it's pretty handily Runaway for me. I just think I think that's the most unique Kanye song I've ever listened to. I think that one just sticks out.
So iconic.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that I feel like no one would really have any 808 songs in the mix, which would have been cool to have Andy on, a former guest of ours, because he loves 808 Heartbreak. But the thing was, like, I was thinking about it as we were talking about it, and at the time, like I think it's 2008 when that dropped, like, I listened to those songs all the time. Like, Love Lockdown was a radio hit, Heartless, amazing, like, but then, like, they're gone just like that. They didn't age well.
Yeah.
Can't say I'm surprised in retrospect, but hindsight's 2020 anyways.
Love Lockdown, the Pentatonics cover is just a thing to behold. They like flipped it on its head, made it super dark. acapella fans, music fans, any kind of fans, go listen to that cover. PTX, Volume 1, it's from the Sing Off. They competed with it, and like they won there was like the R&B week, and like there was this other group that has a rapper in it, but they did Love Lockdown, and I think they won that week, which was pretty crazy. Anyway, side note.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we wrapped that up. Little March Madness for all you fans out there.
That was great.
That was
Yeah,
good.
it was
exhilarating.
I feel like we flushed out all our favorites.
Yeah,
quite well.
Yeah, it's definitely shed some light on the albums I don't give as much time to. That like Late Registration and 808s would be two that I think I'm gonna probably go back to and get into a little bit more.
I'm also realizing now I really want to throw a Kanye themed party where we only play Kanye songs all night, because you totally could. There's enough music to where you could just play Kanye songs all night.
What else would go into that party other than the music, though?
I don't know. You'd
What
have
kind
to
of
like
food would you serve at a Kanye party?
you can only dress up
Croissants. Are you kidding?
and like fish
Yeah.
fillet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You can only dress up as the different versions of Kanye throughout the years. So like polos.
Yeah.
You get the like weird homeless clothing. Like
Yeah.
you got to dress up as some era of Kanye.
You can get your Yeezys.
Yeezys, yeah.
Yeezy season 4 or whatever.
Obviously,
season
just
they're in.
huge posters of Kanye all over the place,
Yeah.
and like Kim's butt.
I feel like that's
Get
a
a
party
mold.
that only the three of us would be at. I'd be okay with that though.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
That'd be
dope.
chill. I feel like a lot of people would like that.
No,
We
yeah,
do.
yeah, definitely.
We should actually do that though on the
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
So
That'd be cool.
Let's
That'd
make
be
a mental
fun.
note. We'll send out an invite. We'll let everyone
Yeah.
know where it's at.
Nobody steal this idea from us. Of course, no one's ever done this before, I'm sure. If we Google this, there's definitely someone who just has supplies and like paper plates and like that everything has Kanye on it. There must have been someone who's done this before.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right, so we're gonna do a little transition. A little shout out to Fantano with the transition, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the new Logic album and our initial thoughts on how we thought Bobby Tarantino II was.
Bobby Tarantino II. Let me just jump into this and say, it was lit, fam. It was
Certainly
indeed lit. Some of the most fun. I think fun is the best word to describe it, and that's he's very clear that that's what he's going for with these Bobby Tarantino mixtapes. With the heavy-handed is another word, or maybe not heavy-handed, but like extra. I think is another word that can describe these albums, but also Logic in general. From the Rick and Morty skit that he clearly got Justin Roiland to do.
Yeah.
Like that's definitely the original voice guy.
Yeah.
Of Rick and Morty.
And he's been on Rick and Morty too. So
Yes,
got
he's
that
been, of
connection.
course. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got that. Everything about it is so extra. I really enjoyed listening to it, but I'm conflicted with Logic. Have a lot of thoughts. I'll let you guys get some thoughts in before I keep rambling on.
Yeah. Yeah. So I listened to it once all the way through, and then there are several tracks I kind of just picked out and added to my playlist that I normally listen to. Favorite track, 44 More, which is
Really?
weird because I first listened to it and I was like, I don't know. And then you were like, dude, this is dope.
Yeah.
And then I listened to it again and I was like, oh yeah, this is really dope. I got really thrown off by the like ring ring.
That part.
Like, ring ring
is
ring
very
ring ring
cringy.
ring 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 ring.
Very cringy. I didn't like that, but the rest of it's pretty good. It's like the future part in King's Dead.
It is
Not
not
that bad.
on
Not that
level,
bad. Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's one of those moments where you're listening and you turn your head and you're like, is this happening right now? Like, did this get into their
Yeah,
headspace
yeah.
and they're like, this is a good idea?
I was like, okay, ring 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 ring.
you go crazy. You spiral into like madness. Yeah.
But
yeah.
otherwise, dope song. I really didn't like that song with Marshmello. I work hard every motherfucking day.
Yeah. It's so extra. It's so
Yeah.
extra. It's like we get it, Logic.
It was definitely like a single grab too, so I can't
Totally.
knock
Yeah, I
it
mean,
too hard. but
Marshmello's a
yeah.
big name right now.
Yeah, but he brought back Wiz Khalifa into the limelight.
Wiz
With-
Khalifa's
with
verse.
a great verse.
What a great
Wiz
verse.
right?
So good.
So good.
That's what I feel like he's kind of evolving into, not to get into the evolution of Wiz Khalifa too, but like whole projects from him just get kind of stale for me, but like that was perfect. Like just one like super heavy weed song. Like I was telling Ben, the beat literally sounded like it was off a Wiz Khalifa mixtape, like an early Cushion OJ or Flight School type beat.
Yeah.
And he killed it. It was awesome.
Yeah, he was great. I liked Contra. That was just a hard
Contra
song.
really bangs. Yuck too for me.
Yuck was one of my notable ones as well.
Yeah, I gotta listen to that more. I never actually added that to my playlist, so. I'm gonna do
But like
that
there
now.
are a bunch of nonchalant, especially towards the end. Wizard of Oz, not memorable. State of Emergency, not memorable. What's Up, pretty annoying. I don't remember those songs. Maybe because I
Yeah.
mostly listened to the first half of it, but
Yeah, but
those first ones, Overnight, Contra, Boom Trap Protocol, Yuck, Indigo Badu, very solid songs for me.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like a streaming move on his part, that he knows like those songs like right off the bat when you're just hitting that hard? Like not that many people have time to listen to that whole project.
Yeah, maybe.
yeah, it's probably just a good move in general.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Since there is no story, it doesn't really matter where they go, like the
Yeah.
order that they go in. So yeah, just start off with a bang and hope that people listen through as long as possible, I guess.
Because like
Yeah.
truth be told, I don't even know if I made it through the whole album. I definitely got to warm it up, I think, but which actually kind of transitions into the next point I wanted to make with Young Sinatra. So
Featuring Young Sinatra.
I hopped on the Logic bandwagon back when he was making all the Young Sinatra mixtapes, and I think it's kind of the difference you're seeing here is like he was still trying to prove himself lyrically on those tapes with his flow, and now that part of it has just kind of fallen off, and it's more just, you know, throwing out bangers, because those other Young Sinatra songs were bangers. Those mixtapes all had bangers on them.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just wish that was the same way as it
Yeah,
was. But
it's interesting. I started listening. My brother turned me on to Under Pressure. That was the first thing, and I actually haven't listened through any of his. They had 4 mixtapes, right? There are 4
I
Young
think he's got
Sinatra
more
mixtapes.
than that.
There's a
'Cause
lot.
He's got like the Young
he's
Sinatra.
got 3 Young Sinatras, I think.
And a friend of mine who is really into him, shout out Jasmine, says that she likes the mixtapes, like pre Under Pressure, more than anything after Under Pressure. Which
Yeah.
is interesting because now Bobby Tarantino are also mixtapes. So, I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting. The whole personalities thing.
And I
that
love
he's
how
trying to do.
the Rick and Morty skit talks about like
Yeah.
mixtape logic versus album logic.
It is such like a hip hop head fan forum like
Yeah.
type debate, because we've had the 3 of us have had this conversation probably 5 times since we've known each other, and it's, I don't know, man, it's just frustrating because as an artist, like he's so self-aware, but at the same time it's like I want to see him like do more shit,
Yeah.
but I'm also at the same time like okay with it because it's a good product. Like I'm gonna use this, you know?
Well, here's the thing. Let's kind of get into my saltiness about Logic. Let me vent to you guys for a hot second. First of all, on this album, he's clearly ripping off Travis. And artists like, in the vein of Travis and Lil Uzi Vert, pretty much everywhere. Sing-songy, auto-tuney. He even goes yah at one point. He does a couple of yahs, and it's like, dude, that's Travis's like signature. You're doing, you know what I mean? You're doing someone else's signature over, and then this is partially due to Fantano that like my eyes were opened to this, but it's over his multiple projects. You can see him really wearing his what's it called?
Something on a sleeve.
Wearing his influences on his sleeve, like very clearly, and almost like getting very close to copying artists like Kendrick and Cole and Big Sean, like his contemporaries. He kind of has his own style to it. Like the only thing that separates Logic for me is like his voice. He has this really nice tone, and his flow, obviously, like his flow is amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like it's kind of like Discount. A bunch of these songs feel like Discount Travis to me. What do you guys think about that thought?
Yeah, I mean, I see how you can come to that conclusion, and he definitely. It's frustrating that he's kind of just cherry picking these styles, and it shows kind of a shallowness to him. But the counter argument is that it is a mixtape, and like it's kind of like I think Fantano actually talked about this on his review, but it's like the Lil Wayne like dedication mixtapes. Like on those, he just like takes people's beats and just fucks around on them, and that's kind of what he's doing here.
Basically, proving that he's like, whatever you can do, I can do it, and sometimes a little bit better.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the thing on this. It's like it wasn't good enough for me to be like,
Yeah.
wow, you really nailed it. Like, these are all bangers, you know. It was just kind of like, all right, this is pretty good, but I'm still going to listen to Travis and those other artists that have the same sounding songs because I like those better.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ben?
I actually didn't get that vibe at all. I never
Really?
even thought that he was. I never even thought of Travis Scott at all throughout this whole thing. So I don't know. I don't really have much more to say about it because it never even crossed my mind until now.
Well,
But he, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're
He
good.
certainly has some like beat similarities to Kendrick, like a lot, like a lot. So that's definitely something I noticed.
if you haven't watched the Fantano video yet, I would like give this another listen, and then if you have time, like right afterwards, watch the video, and you'll be like, wow,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of interesting points that he makes, and it's one of those Fantano moments where you're like, because I watched that before I listened to the whole thing thoroughly, and I was kind of like, I wish I hadn't done that.
Yeah,
because
it's generally not a healthy way to consume reviews.
Reviews after, folks. Reviews after.
Reviews after the experience. The first time I noticed this effect was like, whoa, because the beat sounds, or his flow is so similar to Kendrick's flow on All Right. Like that kind of, it was very, very similar, and like I had this moment before I listened to the Fantana review. I was like, wow, this is very similar. I remember talking to my friend Mark about this, and we were like, yeah, this is very similar.
I mean, like, how many? It's probably a lot closer than I actually think it is, because I haven't watched this video. But like, how many flows even are there out there? You know, like, how many how many patterns can you
but-
fit?
That's a fair thought.
But I feel like at the same time, it's also like you could diversify it a little bit, at least time period wise, because it's all these things that have happened in the past, like not even a year ago. Like, so it's so evident to everybody.
Like, take some influences maybe from some older people, so it's at least a little bit further away, like a thing that Bruno's doing. Like, I don't know. But it's,
Yeah, but I mean, maybe that doesn't fit his music style.
That's
like,
true.
He likes
And
what
that's-
people are
yeah,
doing
that's
right now.
just
That's
our
true.
opinion
But
and
think
what we want.
about Young Thug. Young Thug sounds like something I've never ever heard before, and that's just kind of mind-boggling. Like, even if you don't, his sound is annoying. Like, I think I can fairly use the word annoying to describe Young Thug's sound. But when you're listening to it, you're like, this is something new that I've never ever heard before. I wish Logic would like take more risks and like, because he clearly has the talent. You can't call Logic talentless, but he's not trying to be innovative enough.
Well, and that's like the biggest
I don't know.
part of rap now is like you get all these social media rappers that sound so unique. Like you get a Lil Yachty, you get like a 6ix9ine, even though he fucking just screams into the mic. Like no one else does that.
Yeah.
XXX, who we might talk about a little bit later, like has some like acoustic in his songs and some other weird shit. I know other rappers have been doing that now, but it's all like we're all like, what is this? What is this madness? So yeah, I mean,
It's a fair point you're making, but I feel like you can. That's one of the things that keeps hip hop so interesting, that people push each other to be innovative. Okay, now contrary to this, let's go away from the saltiness, go to the sweetness. A couple of things that I really, really appreciate about Logic. First of all, the way that he can deflect disses while being a nice guy at the same time.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I love myself. Like, I get it. Like, you're jealous of my success, but all I have is love for you. While he's being you're like afraid of him, but you're also like, oh, but he's being a nice guy. But ooh, he could fuck me up if he wanted to.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Also, something that I want to point out. It's kind of a little detail. He's married, and you can tell through his music. He says like
even on these bangers,
he says things like, "Your girl is into me. Can't help it. I guess you ain't the shit for her lately." Which sounded a lot like that line sounded a lot like Gambino to me, like old Gambino. Guess you ain't the shit for her lately. Like he did this.
Yeah.
Anyway, that I appreciate a lot, because a lot of rappers that you know are in serious relationships will keep talking about bitches and hoes.
Kanye.
And it's like, dude, you have kids. What are you talking about? But Logic finds a way to keep talking about how his sexual prowess, while also respecting his wife and like having her in the forefront of his music.
Put her on the album cover.
On the album cover. She's driving, dude.
Yeah,
She
that's
seems
so
like
cool.
a badass.
I guess like production and style aside, like what you're kind of getting at is like he keeps it real in general. Like his content is very real.
Yeah.
And like as a person and his
Yeah.
interests, he makes very apparent. Like you see him in Rick and Morty, and you see him in all these other facets reaching out or like talking about mental health, which is something most rappers really haven't done before, which
Yeah.
is incredibly important. Which I guess kind of, I do still want to talk about kind of this whole ordeal. Like it felt like it kind of segues into the kind of nerdiness of Logic a little bit.
Yeah. Let's talk about the nerd culture. Yeah.
Yeah, so he just released, or well, he didn't just release, but he was in this Rick and Morty promo for the album, and now we're actually, this past week, Run the Jewels released a video with the creators of Rick and Morty titled Oh Mama, I believe it is. So if we want to get into that a little bit.
It's really cool how little by little I've been noticing how nerd culture has kind of always been ingrained in the hip hop world, because I started listening to like older like boom bap stuff, and you hear references to animes. Cowboy Bebop seems to come up in like a lot of people's. Thundercat talks about Cowboy Bebop, and like
What is
older.
that?
It's an anime. Like I don't even know what it is. I think it's like Cowboys. Ninja Cowboys. I'm not really sure what it is. But there's a lot of anime that comes up. Rick and Morty pops up here and there. What was the
Wu-Tang
other-
talks about forming like Voltron.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
They
lot
also have-
of pop culture and nerdy references, which is cool, I guess. It is like nerd culture is in the zeitgeist now, but it's interesting to see that hip hop and nerd culture, when back in the day they were both what's it called? Edge, like not what's it called? Fringe, kind of. I'm looking
don't
for
know
a
what you're
word
trying to
that
say.
I'm missing this word right now.
Like,
but
there was more of a hard segment between the two. Like the line's a little more blurred now. Is that what you-
no, what I mean is both of them used to not be in the center of pop culture, so they kind of married each other behind the scenes. And now that they're both the main thing of pop culture, it kind of seems like it keeps going. Like they're still intersecting and cross weaving all over the place. It's really fun.
I think an artist who epitomizes that a little bit now is Kyle. He has like loads of video game references throughout all of his music, and he like makes the fact that he's a gamer like very, very evident and struck home in a lot of his songs. I don't listen to him that much, but I always catch those things. So
Yeah.
I thought that was a little
Speaking of gamers, that thing you told me about Drake Twitch streaming blew my mind.
Yeah, so I don't know too much about the Twitch world, but I guess Drake hopped on a Fortnite game with Travis Scott, Juju Smith-Schuster, who's a former Steelers player, and this Twitch streamer Ninja, who is like one of the best Fortnite players in the world and makes almost millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So Fortnite's an online game, right? Give me a quick rundown of what is it? The Hunger Games one?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So it's a free game. So like everyone plays it. So I just started playing it about a week ago, but it's huge, and it's basically like
You're dropped onto an island.
yeah. So you're on
Right.
this bus, you drop onto an island, and you can drop on to any part of the island, and it's freaking huge. It's like GTA map size.
Okay. Shit.
And then there's this quote unquote storm that comes in and basically just narrows the map, like narrower and narrower until it gets to a little point in the middle. And then it's 100 players playing at the same time, and you just want to kill everyone.
Last man standing wins.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's a very accessible game because it's free and everyone's super into it right now.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool that like hip hop, big hip hop artists. We're talking about Travis and Drake are like two of the biggest names in hip hop right now. Just getting on Twitch and live streaming. That's something like back in the day, celebrities weren't as accessible to us. Like now we get their tweets, we get everything, and they're live streaming their video games.
Yeah, and I think that's what's nice also about rap now is they're real people. Like you get these guys rapping about like bitches, hoes, getting money, whatever, and then these guys are just like, you know what? I just want to play some video games and just chill out. So
Yeah, it's like
I respect that a lot.
yeah, you could like kind of see yourself actually hanging out with this artist because of like them making themselves more accessible, and like I could never hang out with someone who is the ideals of rap.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
it'd get annoying
I
real
would
quick.
hate that person.
Yeah.
I would not like that person even one bit.
Yeah.
But like somebody who's a gamer who likes to make cool songs and like still respects people but doesn't shy away from the big moment and is confident, that's something I can look at like a role model or somebody I could hang out with.
Yeah.
You know?
It's because they're also like closer to our age. I think what you can see the distinction. I think I'm realizing this. I don't know if this is true, but an artist like Kanye is more old school. He would never live stream just himself sitting on a couch because him, like artists like him and Beyonce and Jay want to have this image of they're deified, right? People look at them and they look at them like as gods.
Yeah.
So if you see your god sitting on a couch playing a video game, they're not a god anymore.
Yeah.
They're just a normal person. But Travis and Drake are also kind of deified in their live, in their concerts. Like they're
Yeah.
huge and monumental, but they don't really care about being perceived as gods, maybe. And like
Yeah.
Drake's latest music video with God's Plan, where he's just like going around giving money to people. Like,
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
I mean,
it
I think-
seems that way.
I think it's also interesting that you called out Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Kanye because all of those people have very minimal presence on social media. And when Kanye did, it really kind of looked like it messed him up a good amount mentally.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
because people were just reading so much into what he was saying and he was taking it too seriously and reading too far into it. Whereas you get these guys who just make absolute goofballs of themselves. Like, Drake doesn't have good dance moves. You can put me on record on this podcast. He has trash dance moves. I don't have good dance moves, but he dances like I probably would. Like it's just like these goofy little hand movements, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, come on. Like, this guy's he's literally like, him and Kendrick are the king of rap. I
Yeah.
think Kendrick's probably a better dancer, but it's like, for real, like, I don't know, Champagne Poppy? Like, what kind of a nickname is that?
Yeah,
It's goofy.
It's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that like kind of I think gains people's respect when people like artists that don't take themselves too seriously nowadays. And that's kind of part of our meta culture that we have now. We like things to be self-referential and like with a wink and a nod to the
Yeah.
audience, like, yeah, we know that what we're doing here, like, it's not and I also, like, this is a totally other rabbit hole that we don't need to go down, but I fear that we are approaching peak meta with things like Deadpool and Rick and Morty and BoJack Horseman and all that kind of stuff. There was a BoJack Horseman reference on an episode of Atlanta.
Oh,
I missed
what?
that.
It was
Wait, was
very
it the second?
the second episode
I haven't seen
of
it
the
yet.
new season, which is amazing. And, we have to talk about Atlanta at some point. I just realized.
Yeah.
And the music that they use on that. Oof. Anyway, there's a very like minor reference. You wouldn't even, if you're not listening to this side conversation at the beginning of a scene, you wouldn't really get it. But he's like, yeah, I don't even know if I can identify with this horse anymore. He doesn't say the words BoJack Horseman.
Oh yeah.
He's like, especially after what he did to her daughter, I don't even know if I can feel bad for this horse anymore. And then the scene keeps going.
That's dope.
It's really cool.
BoJack has, not to, just a little side comment, it's like eerie. Some of those moments when I watch that cartoon, I'm like, fuck, like that just brought it there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it happens, you don't even think you never see it coming. It just hits you like a wave and you're like, oh man.
And
Like,
Atlanta is very similar to it
Yeah.
in that way, where something happens and you're like, it's very surrealistic, but it touches on these very real things, fears that people have and insecurities. Anyway, yeah, we definitely have to talk about it. Give this like a good amount of time to talk about it at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we talking about? Peak meta. I'm afraid we're approaching peak meta. Cool. Back to what we were
but
talking
I
about.
guess going to like, kind of, those are decent role models for society
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. But we also have people that still aren't great role models that are rappers, like Kodak Black, who apparently violated his parole by making a 3-way call and is now in 30 days in solitary confinement.
Nice segue,
So,
dude.
Yeah,
That was
I'm
good.
trying.
Nice.
I'm tying it together.
That was good.
So
Yeah, that's crazy. That story. I mean, I don't know how these things work, parole and all this kind of stuff, but that sounds a little excessive.
there's got to be more details to it, and
Yeah.
it seems like it's probably just a headline grab clickbait, but it's still freaking funny because Kodak Black, I think, has been on parole and arrested probably 2 or 3 times while being on parole. Like, the guy just doesn't get it. And he's probably made more than enough money to be happy, but he just chooses to make these poor decisions.
I think that's key. I do think that he chooses to make these poor decisions, even if he has a publicist or a PR person or group or something, I think they're in on it. I think they're like, yeah, dude, just fuck it, go get arrested. It'll make headlines.
Like, you can pay bail.
Yeah,
and
it'll make headlines. It works with your image, which is also something that Atlanta talks about. Damn, keep going back to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Such a meta commentary on like rappers and their relationship with legalities. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel bad for Kodak.
No, I don't either. He's never presented himself in a good light or a sympathetic light where I've been like, oh, I can see where he's coming from. Or like, he's stuck to the binds of home or anything like that. It's just, no, you just keep making the same mistakes.
Yeah, screw you. You deserve this, dude.
Music.
Yeah.
But like the other part of that issue is like, is he so strapped for like trying to make content that he has to put himself in these situations so he has things to write about?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like, it's beyond the publicity part of it. It's like, do I have to keep gangbanging to like make music?
Maybe, dude.
Because you can tell with like rappers like Jay-Z, and I guess Jay-Z is the perfect example. Like, he was a crack dealer for so long, and then it's like, well, what do I rap about now? And like, did I see a noticeable dip in his quality of music? Yeah, I'd say so. Other than 444, which was a big upswing, like I was pretty disappointed. Like Magna Carta, Holy Grail, I don't know, man. Like, because then it just turns into bling. That's how, like, that. It's what the bling era makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because you get all these rappers that are gangsters, and then they all make their money, and it's like, look at this, and it just kind of goes in cycles, man.
I never thought of that.
It's fucking crazy.
The bling
I'm
era,
having this thought right now, but
what years approximately is the bling era? Is it 90s?
Early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Late
When basically
1990s.
50 Cent. When I think
Yes.
about bling era, I think of 50 Cent. I never thought of that. Yeah, they made their money, and then they're like, "Yo, look at all this stuff I have."
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Ben just went up to go to the bathroom, but we were discussing how
He wasn't sitting here silently this whole time looking at us.
Yeah.
we were
I had to go.
we were talking about the transition from we were talking about Kodak Black and saying, is he choosing to make these poor decisions so he has more things to rap about? Like, does it go beyond publicity?
Because it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on up there beyond, rapping about his life.
Yeah.
And then I referenced Jay-Z and how like he went from being a gangster to a lower quality in rap as he became more mainstream and didn't have to deal with that kind of thing anymore. And it's also archetypal for the transition of gangster rap to bling era rap from like the 80s and 90s to the early 2000s.
Yeah.
It makes a weird amount of sense. But now we're seeing it spiral again because you get like XXX Tentacion and 6ix9ine, these like horrible sexual assault people. It's crazy, man. But now I feel like in this meta culture, you're seeing like a weird, like, just like clusterfuck of all these weird personalities getting thrown around.
Wow, that's a really good point. Holy shit. Yeah. I feel like this era is defined by just like people who are like really fucked up mentally, Like maybe their environment isn't all that bad. I'm sure XXX Tentacion didn't have the greatest childhood, but like I feel like also even if he did, he'd be a fucked up person.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta wonder sometimes.
Yeah.
You know how some people say Childish Gambino is Kendrick from like a good neighborhood?
I've never heard that, but that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Huh.
Yeah. It's a cool way to think about it. Well, old Gambino, obviously. Like the
Yeah.
new one is like a totally different thing.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, this really ended up getting into like a real deep combo. That was freaking sweet.
That was cool.
Pat ourselves on the back there, but that was good.
Go around.
We could do a little go around the horn. There we go.
Mic. Okay.
But yeah, I think maybe that'll be another episode that we can kind of go deeper down the rabbit hole because we have another one. We can cut this too, but we have like that Kanye one where we talked about 808s and how that's affected the rest of rap.
Yep.
To current rap.
How you see a little history lesson,
Yes.
maybe maybe that's in order. That would be cool.
That would be like a nice long episode.
Yeah.
Do some real research.
Do some
Yeah,
research.
we
Yeah.
need to do some research for that one.
It could be like an extra thing, like not
we could
not an
each-
episode.
We could each do like different segments too. Like one of us takes like gangster rap, bling era rap, and then like current rap. That would be fucking
That'd be
sweet.
That would be cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Coming up with ideas on the air. Let's go.
All right. Nobody steal that either. I feel like we have a lot of good ideas, and people are probably like,
Oh, cool.
all 5 people are like, yeah,
I'll do that.
'em.
Yeah, all 3 people listening to this. Yeah.
Meanwhile, if like we had millions of listeners somehow, some way, in some alternate universe, I bet like 30 people would be like, "That's been done before."
Of course. Yeah, trolls in the comments like, dude, go look at this.
Yeah, they wrote like a 30-page article on this.
Friggin'. What are the big publications? Whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, fuck 'em. We're doing us.
We're gonna do our own. Yeah, this is cool. I like
But
that.
anyways, we're gonna wrap this up. So we'll do a little sign off. So I'll kick it to Big YT for his
Cool,
sign off.
boys. It feels great to be back. I really enjoyed the last episode. Even though I wasn't there, I think you guys touched on some really, really good stuff. I think we're getting the hang of this podcasting thing. I think I like the short segments. I like the moving from one to the other, and very excited to talk some more and to possibly have a visual component to our podcasts coming very soon. Working on that right now.
Get to see 3 sexy men.
Yeah, baby.
For my sign off, I don't know. I wasn't gonna say anything all that long. So peace out.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys letting me host. This was definitely good for my confidence
Did
on
a
the
great
podcast.
job, man.
So
It was great.
word. But yeah, so this is Matty G signing off. Maybe I'll be back. Maybe I won't. But either way, I'll probably be back. I just kidding. All right. We're out.
Peace.
Let me get up in this bitch like what's good, ho. Gripping this grain, I spit to release the pain. Pippin' ain't a thing, what's good? Hold up, let me get it right. I've been contemplating life.